and good day to everyone watching. I am Liana G&H Bergonia representing Group 1 and I will be addressing question number 1. So here's the question. How can fostering a deep interest in local history and actively promoting the preservation of a country's historical and cultural heritage lead to stronger community engagement? And how can these efforts contribute to reinforcing national identity and ensuring the long-term sustainability of heritage through inclusive and innovative approaches? So, a strong connection to local history and cultural heritage fosters community cohesion, pride, and identity. Here in the Philippines, efforts to preserve and promote heritage encourage collective memory and ensure that cultural traditions defining the nation's identity remain relevant. So through education, community involvement, and innovation, heritage becomes a bridge between the past and future, uniting people across generations and contributing to national development. In Cebu City, the Sinulog Festival serves as a prime example of how cultural and historical preservation fosters community engagement. So it is celebrated annually in honor of the Santo Niño de Cebu, and the festival blends religious devotion with indigenous cultural expressions. So the festival remains relevant by incorporating modern elements such as contemporary performances and technological innovations. So this adaptability ensures the festival's future relevance, strengthens community ties, and draws millions of tourists, boosting Cebu's economy and showcasing its cultural pride globally. So Cebu's historical landmarks such as Magellan's Cross and Fort San Pedro further illustrate the deep connection to its past. Magellan's Cross, which marks the arrival of Christianity in 1521, symbolizes a major spiritual and cultural shift in the country. Fort San Pedro, on the other hand, a 16th century Spanish fort, reflects Cebu's colonial history and strategic importance. These both landmarks not only educate the public about Cebu's rich history but also foster pride in communities' shared heritage. Preservation efforts involving public institutions, private organizations, and local communities ensure that these sites remain accessible, allowing future generations to connect with history. Innovative approaches to heritage promotion are exemplified by the Casa Gordo Museum, a historic residence turned cultural hub, and with modern tools like virtual tours, interactive exhibits, and multimedia presentations, the museum makes Cebu history engaging and accessible to all, particularly for younger audiences. So by democratizing access to culture, the Casa Gordo Museum bridges gaps across generations and socio-economic backgrounds, illustrating how technology can sustain heritage in the modern world. So looking beyond Cebu, the importance of cultural preservation is evident throughout the Philippines, from the Banawi rice terraces to the preserved colonial architecture of Vigan. Diverse regions contribute to the nation's rich cultural tapestry, and each telling its own unique story. So these efforts highlight the Philippines' cultural diversity while reinforcing a collective identity rooted in shared history. So through these examples, it's clear that fostering interest in local history and preserving heritage can strengthen community bonds and reinforce national identity. Festivals like Sinulog and landmarks like Magellan's Cross do more than just to commemorate the past, but they also connect people to their roots, inspire pride in cultural diversity, and encourage inclusivity. So by integrating modern approaches such as technology and participatory strategies, heritage remains dynamic, sustainable, and relevant. When a cultural preservation becomes a collective responsibility, it helps shape a unified, forward looking nation as the Philippines exemplifies. And that would be all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Maria Genevieve Verdolia from Group 1, and here's the question that I'm going to answer. Why is increasing awareness of local history and heritage important in inspiring ethical tourism practices that not only bring economic benefits to local communities but also help protect historical sites from the negative impacts of over-commercialization and environmental degradation? And how can such awareness foster a balance between tourism growth and the preservation of cultural and historical integrity for future generations? So, increasing awareness of local history and heritage is important for inspiring ethical tourism practices that bring economic benefits to local communities while preserving historical sites. By educating both tourists and locals about the importance of cultural and environmental preservation, it is possible to minimize over-commercialization and prevent environmental degradation. When people understand the significance of local heritage, they are more likely to adopt responsible tourism behaviors. This awareness helps strike a balance between tourism growth and ensuring the integrity of cultural and historical sites is preserved for future generations. Promoting awareness of local heritage leads to ethical tourism practices that respect and protect the environment and culture. For instance, in the case of Banawe rice terraces, educating tourists about their cultural and environmental importance has helped reduce activities that could damage the terraces, while encouraging visitors to support local businesses such as handicrafts and homestays. This also benefits the local economy by providing a more suitable, culturally respectful form of tourism. A personal reflection I have is how this balance can be empowering to both locals and visitors. When tourists learn about the history of a place and its people, they become part of the effort to preserve it, rather than contributing to its destruction. In Cebu, the Sinulog Festival is another example where awareness of local traditions attracts visitors who respect the religious and cultural significance of the event, which creates economic opportunities without compromising the integrity of that tradition. In conclusion, raising awareness of local history and heritage is essential not only for preserving cultural identity but also for fostering sustainable tourism. When people understand the importance of heritage, they are more likely to engage in ethical tourism that supports local communities while protecting valuable sites from degradation. From my perspective, this approach allows tourism to be a tool for positive change, where both the economy and cultural integrity can thrive together. In education, whether through school curricula, media, or community engagement, plays a crucial role in promoting this awareness and ensuring that future generations inherit a vibrant, intact cultural heritage. Ethical tourism practices, as demonstrated by the examples of Banawe and Cebu, provide a sustainable pathway to celebrate and protect our shared history.
For question number 3, how can communities actively engage in the preservation of local history and cultural heritage, and how can individuals contribute to ensuring its sustainability for future generations by fostering a sense of ownership and responsibility? So preserving local history and cultural heritage is important because it helps us understand who we are and keeps our identity alive. It connects us to our past and gives us a sense of pride in our community. Without efforts to preserve these traditions and stories, they could be forgotten over time. So to make sure this doesn't happen, both communities and individuals need to work together, take responsibility, and feel a sense of ownership in keeping their heritage alive for future generations. Communities play an important role in preserving history and culture. They can organize events like festivals, fairs, or storytelling sessions to bring people together and share traditions in fun ways. For example, a small town could host a yearly festival with traditional dances, crafts, and recipes passed down through generations. And communities can also protect historical landmarks like old buildings, statues, or parks that hold historical value. So restoring these places helps them last longer. For example, a community could work with the local authorities to turn on old train station into a museum or cultural center, creating space where people can learn about their roots. Individuals can also help preserve history and culture. A simple way is by learning about their local history by visiting museums, reading about their town, or talking to elders. For example, us like student could interview our grandparents or older neighbors to collect stories about past and share with others. And another way is by teaching younger generations about traditions. Parents can share family recipes, explain cultural celebrations, or teach kids traditional crafts. For example, during holidays like Christmas, families can involve children in preparing traditional dishes or decorating the house with cultural themes. Moreover, technology makes it even easier to preserve and share history. Social media platforms like Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook can be used to promote cultural heritage, such as showcasing local landmarks or crafts. Communities can also create digital archives to store old photos and records, making it easy for history. And finally, getting young people involved is a key to keeping these efforts going. Schools can encourage students to learn about history through projects like posters, essays, or group videos. So, for example, students could create a documentary about their town's history and share it with the community. In conclusion, preserving local history and cultural heritage is a team effort. Communities can host events, protect landmarks, and use technology to share their culture, while individuals can learn, teach, and pass down traditions. So, by working together, we can ensure that our heritage is not forgotten but celebrated and cherished. This way, future generations will have a strong connection to their roots and a sense of pride in where they come from. So again, this is Group 1. I hope you have learned a lot. Thank you!